What's going on, everyone? Alex here. Welcome back to the channel. It's a little different, right? Yeah, I decided to do this episode in my basement, so I needed a little bit more space. Because today we are doing What's in My Camera Bag 2021. All right, now that we have that little intro out of the way, time to pour myself a nice little beverage, and we are gonna dive into What's in My Camera Bag 2021. Real quick before we dive into What's in My Camera Bag, I have to say I like having a desk again. And not to mention, I'm actually kind of digging this setup. You know, it's very similar to my current setup, but there is a lot more depth, you know, to the background. There's a lot more distance between myself and the background, so it kind of gives it that nice little, excuse me, I'm looking at the monitor above. Yeah, it kind of gives a nice little separation, and yeah, just kind of digging it. So I also like the little mirror right there. That's fun. Grab the camera bag, and I am still rocking the Peak Design Everyday Camera Bag, 30 liter, not 20 liter. I did a video on this last year. I'll link it right up here. And this is still a fantastic bag. I absolutely love this bag. There is one thing that has bugged me just recently, and I think it's just because it's, you know, I've worn it in so much, but it is really just the zipper here. Right up here it gets kind of caught sometimes when I'm trying to pull it down, you know, and kind of like right there, you know, and that's the only thing that kind of bugs me about this bag, because, you know, people advertise it as there's like no hitches in it, you know, kind of just goes with the flow. And this bag, I've used it, abused it, and I feel like maybe I have, to the point that it kind of doesn't go with the flow much anymore. But it is still a fantastic camera bag. Overall, just the design of it, the sleekness of it, it's just a cool bag. It's just a cool bag. Let's go ahead and dive into this camera bag, starting with the back here. And I am rocking the MacBook 13-inch M1 chip version, and this laptop is fantastic. I've only had it for a couple weeks now, so, you know, can't really set that down there. Can't really do a full in-depth review on it just yet, but what I can tell you from just using it for the past couple weeks or so, this laptop has really impressed me. The M1 chip is, I mean, it's amazing. Editing on it has been a breeze, and I pretty much shoot everything with my Pocket 4K, and I shoot in B-RAW. And there are no lags, there's no stutter, no drop frames. It just breezes through B-RAW. And I'm even editing in Premiere Pro, and there's just no hiccups. Even throwing some Lumetri on it is mind-blowing. It doesn't slow down. The only thing that doesn't work very well with this laptop is After Effects, and that's kind of a given. I knew that going into it. I don't work in After Effects a lot, so for me personally, it wasn't an issue. So this laptop has been a joy to use, and I love the size of it too. It's very light. The battery life has been fantastic. The only thing I guess I could say that's kind of a bummer is there's only 2 ports on the side of it. So if you want to plug more stuff into it, you'll need a dongle, which leads us into the next portion of what's in my camera bag, and that is dongle. So if you rock a MacBook Pro, or just a MacBook in general that has just the, you know, USB-C ports, you're gonna need one of these. And you probably already have one of these. But yeah, this one's kind of my go-to, or my to-go, no. This is probably my on-the-go dongle. I love it. It's the size of it's really nice. I got this on Amazon. I think this was 30 bucks. I'm not sure. I'll have to find the exact listing of it, and I'll put it in the description below, along with everything I'm gonna talk about today will be listed in the description below. So, and it's not affiliated. I'm not getting paid for those links. I just figured I'd help you guys out because I'm a small-time YouTuber. I do not have a buttload of subscribers. So there's that. If you're enjoying this so far, please subscribe. That definitely helps out. Okay, moving on to the good stuff. That's it on the back side. Let's go ahead and dive into the side portion here. Yeah, Canon EOS R. Still rocking this bad boy. Yes, I am still rocking the Canon EOS R. It's a fantastic camera, absolutely love it. Primarily, I only use it for stills. Not to say that the video's terrible on it. It does do video pretty well. I started this channel out with the Canon EOS R, and it did the job. So I'm not knocking it completely, but for me, as a filmmaker, as a cinematographer, it's what I do for a living. I wanted something more, you know? So that's why I'm using the Pocket 4K as basically my video camera. Amazing autofocus. I probably should be using it right now because, I mean, it's just fixed focus right now. So I mean, if I go in, I'm out of focus. So I got like a plane I gotta stick to. I can't complain. I've taken some amazing images with this camera. I'll throw them up here on the screen. It's just a workhorse. This camera is a workhorse for both stills and video. You just really can't go wrong with Canon. I mean, yes, they do have newer models out right now, like the R5 and R6, but this one is still a great buy, in my opinion. Rocking the 35. See, I keep wanting to do this, but I keep forgetting. Yeah, rocking the Canon 35mm f2. I don't think I'm ever going to get rid of this lens. This lens is really my favorite lens, Canon lens, that is. 35mm is just my favorite focal length in general, but I love the size of it. The aperture f2 is, to me, fast enough for what I do, and you still get that nice bokeh with it. And with the lens being image stabilized, I've actually gotten some shots at like 1/10 of a second, and they're still really, really relatively sharp. So yeah, I mean, if you need more light brought in darker situations, and you have this lens, you can get away with it. So just saying. But aside from that, let's go ahead and move on. We have the Canon 100mm macro. This lens is still fantastic. Seriously, it's a great portrait lens. It's obviously a macro lens, so it's great for product photography and detail shots. Also image stabilized. F2.8, so I mean, that's probably the biggest bummer about the lens is that it is f2.8, so it's not a fast lens by any means, but still, this lens in awesome lighting is a great telephoto lens, great product photography lens, and great portrait lens. That's really it on that. I can't really dive too much into this lens anymore because that kind of speaks for itself. There's another version of the macro as well. It's not an L series lens. This is an L series lens, but that one I haven't played around with. I'm sure it's a great lens. I've heard good things about it. That lens is not image stabilized. So again, if you want a lens that is image stabilized, I'd probably go for the L series lens, and it's actually not that expensive. I want to say it is $800 maybe. Let's go ahead and, you know what, let's take a little break here. Let me just pull it up here. Hold on, I gots to know. It really speaks volumes that you are a filmmaker and photographer if you grab your laptop, open it up, and you already have B&H pulled up on a web browser. So let's see here. Wow, okay. I was totally wrong. This lens is $1,300.
Wow.
I'm over here telling you guys it's not that expensive. I'm glad I pulled it up and looked at it. That's pretty expensive. Always be looking at B&H because I have gotten this lens. I think there was a deal going on at one point that was like $500 off. It had to have been, because I've gotten that lens under $1,000 for sure. Next up in my camera bag is this little guy, the Nifty 50. So if you guys don't have a Nifty 50, whether you're a Canon user, Sony user, Fuji user, any user really, you should have a Nifty 50. They're relatively inexpensive, and it's 1.8, and it's a 50mm. So again, you can't really go wrong with it. And it can take a beating, for sure. This lens can take a beating because it was designed to take a beating because it's cheap. I mean, the last iteration that they did with this one, the EF1, they did add metal to the back of it. Before it used to be plastic, so I am thankful that they did that. All right, guys, next up on the what's in my camera bag is AirPods. I just recently got AirPods, and I just didn't think I would like fall in love with them as quickly as I did. I just love the size of these things, and I'm sorry, but like holding them like and just flipping them and closing them, like it's great. I'm obviously invested in the Apple ecosystem, so it kind of makes sense, you know? And I've actually edited with these just recently, and I loved them. They sounded great. Everything worked great, so really can't complain. So this next piece of equipment I actually don't carry in my camera bag anymore because I carry it with me at all times, but I used to carry it in my camera bag at all times. So it kind of works, but I've talked about it before, and that's the multi-tool. If you are a filmmaker or cinematographer, I can't stress it enough. You should have one of these. And like I said, I've gotten to the point where I'm carrying it with me at all times. It's part of my EDC, if you will. And I can't harp on it enough. You gotta get one of these. I have a friend, a coworker, I've used it so much around him, he finally bought one on B&H. And again, like I said, I think it's like 20, 30 bucks. It's not that expensive. So highly recommend it, definitely. And of course, if you're a filmmaker or photographer on the go, hard drives are very important. And I pretty much carry the LaCie hard drives at all times. I think they're, obviously this is the rugged version. They're built like a tank, and honestly, I just think they're kind of cool. I know that's kind of a weird thing to say about hard drives. Like, you go through and you're choosing a hard drive to purchase, and you stop and you're like, that's a cool one. I like that. That's a cool looking hard drive. Next thing on the list is this hefty, chunky boy right here. This is the Sigma 50-100 Art Series lens, f1.8. It's like the size of my head. Yes, this lens is fantastic, and I'm currently shooting with the Sigma 18-35. So if anyone out there that's watching this, if you have a Pocket 4K with a speed booster, the Sigma 18-35 and the Sigma 50-100, those two lenses, it is just a fantastic kit. The Sigma Art Series lenses are sharp. They are tack sharp. They're fantastic lenses, and the 50-100, again, is a fantastic lens. The only thing that kind of like sucks about it is that it has terrible focus breathing, and I can dive further into this lens in another video. So be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you guys can be notified when I upload a video about the Sigma 50-100. Let's keep this train rolling. Next up on the list is the PolarPro Variable ND Peter McKinnon edition, 2 to 5 stop, and this was in my last what's in my camera bag video last year. Still a fantastic variable ND. I primarily use this variable ND filter with my Pocket 4K. So if anyone is a Pocket 4K user out there rocking a speed booster, that lets in more light, and it gives your lens an extra stop of light. So if you're using a lens that has, an f1.8, as I am using right now, you get an extra stop of light. So the 2 to 5 stop of ND isn't like enough. So for anyone out there, I would recommend, if you're thinking about picking this bad boy up, and you are using the Pocket 4K, I would recommend getting the 6 to 9 stop variable ND version. All right, guys, onto my second camera bag, and that is the LoPro ProTactic 450 camera bag. Talked about this in my camera bag review video on the everyday camera bag. I moved away from this camera bag, and just because it just couldn't hold everything that I wanted it to, but I'm glad I held on to it, because when I got the Pocket 4K, and I have the Pocket 4K all rigged out, I needed something to carry around my Pocket 4K, And this camera bag carries my Pocket 4K, as you see right here, rocking the infamous Sigma 18-35mm f1.8 lens. Love this lens. Seriously, it's my all-time favorite lens. But I've got it attached to some rails, as you see right here. The follow focus is actually a friend of mine's, and the brand is like, I'm gonna butcher this, but it's like Fotka. I don't know. He's let me borrow it, and honestly, it's a pretty good follow focus, and it's relatively cheap on Amazon. I think it's like $170, $180. The Atomos Ninja V is still my monitor of choice, but I have been looking at other monitors recently, especially the Portkeys monitors, because, I mean, if you guys aren't aware of the Portkeys monitors and you have a Pocket 4K, you need to look into them, okay? You need to look into them, because they, if you attach it via Bluetooth, you can actually control the camera settings, you know, with the Portkeys monitor. So if you have a V-mount like I do, attached to the back of the camera, kind of covering the screen, you don't have to keep pulling the V-mount back, you know, getting it into the screen, putting it back. So I'm looking into that because I do that, I still have to do that, and it's kind of annoying, but you know, it's not hindering me from creating and making a beautiful image. I'm rocking the Hollyland Mars 400S Pro wireless video system, and man, seriously, these things are fantastic. I have mentioned it before, and I'm still trying to get a video made with these. Again, be on the lookout for that. I'm gonna have that review out on these, but I, again, want to play around with these more, really get all the good information I can for you guys. But with just how little I've used them, they are so easy to use. Seriously, they're very, very easy to use. You turn them on, you plug them in, and they just sync up. You really don't have to do a lot of tweaking or you know, finding the right channels. That's really all I can say about it. Like I said, I haven't used them very much, but for what I have used it with, they're fantastic. And I think they're $650, which I know that sounds like a lot. And I'm going into my Epic Light Media. I know it sounds like a lot, okay? The Hollyland Mars 400S Pro sounds like a lot, but it's not. Sorry, that's my impression of Epic Light Media guy. I'm sorry, I don't know I keep forgetting his name, and that's terrible because I love their channel. Be sure to not subscribe to them at all and not like their videos. But no, they're fantastic. That's all I can really say about them. They are fantastic. I think that is it. That's what's in my camera bags 2021. So if you guys enjoyed this video, subscribe if you aren't already, tap that notification bell so you can be notified when I upload a new video. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Till next time, shoot to create. Cheers.